Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, sit down, all of you. Okay. Suppose one thin person and a person who is a bodybuilder. They will got to fight. Who will win? The bodybuilder. We assume it's in our mind who is having physical strength, he will win. But sometimes you might have some physical strength, but it will not work out, because in order to properly utilize your physical strength, you should have that inner strength from your heart. When there is a crash between or a fight between a weak one and a strong one, we always think that the strong one will win. But sometimes the weak one gets the opportunity due to its willingness, inner strength and braveness. He becomes the winner. Okay. So today's poem is on that, how a little mouse is able to fight with a mighty snake. Okay. And today's poem name is, what is? The Mouse and the written by Bikram Seth. Okay. Bikram Seth is one of India's most popular poet, novelist and short story writer. He writes stories for children like you. So this is a very beautiful poem. Page number is 131. Okay. In the beginning of the poem, there is a quotation from Mahatma Gandhi. Strength does not come from physical capacity, it comes from an indomitable will. As Mahatma Gandhi says, the strength does not come from physical strength. If you are very much strong and stout, that doesn't mean you will win the competition. Strength comes from our inner self, from our heart, from ourself, from within us. Okay. So let's read the poem first. One fine morning, two small mice, much against their friends' advice, visited a room where grain undisturbed for months had lain. Other mice had entered, none lived to eat and tell, not one. But the two friends, unpolished, broke in and began to feast. And their laughter fell and rose till their blood with horror froze. So one fine morning, two small mice, they were friends, they entered to a room, okay, where there were grains were there and it was undisturbed for months. No one has entered into that room. And against their friends' advice, friends had told that you don't go to that room, it is very dangerous, because whoever entered into that room, he never comes back. Okay, that means something is there which is causing the trouble. But without listening to the advice of their friends, they both entered to the room. Other mice had entered, none lived to eat and tell. So before them, whoever entered to that room, keep your book here. Before them, who entered to that room, no one came out. to tell or to eat. They have not eat anything, or they have not alive. Okay. But the two friends unpolished, the two friends were unguarded, they were uncontrolled by anyone, they entered to that room. They broke in and began to feast. They broke into the room and they started having their feast. They were enjoying there. And their laughter fell and rose. When they were enjoying their feast, they were laughing. Sometimes they were laughing very loudly, and sometimes they are also, their voice was also very low. Till their blood with horror froze. They were feasting and merrymaking till they found something in front of them, and they were very much afraid. Okay, and their blood became frozen by the horror sight. What was that sight? Okay. In the second stanza, the poet says about the horror sight as gold and shiny, vicious, long, venom fang, hypnotic, strong, slide a snake towards the pair, swallowed one right then and there. So the poet says about the appearance of the fearsome thing. What is that fearsome thing? It is a dangerous snake, a mighty snake. Gold and shiny, vicious and long, venom fanged, hypnotic strong. The snake was golden, it was shining. It was long, venom fanged. The fangs, they were poured with venom, means poison. The fangs of the snake was poisoned. It was very strong and it slid towards the pair. The pair means to both of the mouse. Okay. Swallowed one right then and there. The snake swallowed one of the friends at the same time. Then and there it swallowed the one of them. Hissed obscenely at the other, and it with a disgusting way. It was disgusted, it was very angry. It hissed, means it made the sound, and ran towards the other to swallow the other one. That the first, and here is another. And the snake said, that was the first one and this is the other mouse. I will swallow it also. And when she stood, shook and still, sprang at once to make his kill. The snake saw that the mouse is standing in a shock. As her friend was died at once. So it became a scenery like this, that you are doing something very happily and something wrong happened just suddenly. So what will be your expression? You might be in shock and you don't know what to do. You will be still, you will become statue. You will become astonished that what I will do. Okay, you will not become astonished in surprise. You will become astonished in fear that what had happened. Okay. Okay. And the snake saw that the mouse was standing still in shock. It sprang to it to make its kill. To kill the mouse, it sprang towards it. Suddenly the mouse unfroze, glared at him and twisted her nose. Every time she slid or sprang, dripping venom from each fang. So suddenly the mouse came to the current situation. Suddenly the mouse came to the current situation. She became unfrozen. She make herself unfrozen. There was no one to wake her up. So she unfrozen herself and she kept herself away from the attack of the snake. The snake repeatedly attacked the mouse, but it kept herself away from the clutch of the snake. Out beyond his reach she lived, till the snake, grown tired, crept to his hole, slid first his head, then his gleaming overfed trunk in, so that just his tail jutted out to thrash and frail. So each time the snake wanted to catch the mouse just jumped to another place in order to save herself. Okay, the snake tried repeatedly and eventually it became tired, it became exhausted, and at last it started to return to its own hole. First he slid for his head, then his gleaming overfed trunk in, so that just his tail jutted out to thrash and frail. So when the snake was entering to the hole, as he has swallowed the mouse, so the part of the trunk, it jammed, it stuck at the door of the hole. His head entered, half of the body entered, but at the place where the mouse was stored inside its stomach, it was jammed at the door. It was not able to drag its body inside the hole. So, in order to push its own body, it started moving the tail very fast like a weapon. Okay, have you seen the tail of a snake? If you will hold the head, then it will move the tail very fast. Swift as rays, the little mouse rushed towards the killer's house, beat his tail once, twice again, clung to it till, wild with pain, hissing wrath, the snake backed out, swivered his body round about, longed towards the mouse and tried, swallowed her, but she lived wide. Every time he longed till he, wriggling back exhaustedly, slid inside his hole once more, then exactly as before. So, swift as rays, the little mouse. So, when the little mouse saw that the snake is trapped, it was not getting entered into the hole, it got a chance to take the revenge of the death of her friend. It started biting the tail again and again till the snake became very angry. Okay. So hissing wrath, the snake backed out with a severe pain. When the mouse was biting the tail of the snake, it became very angry. It backed out from the hole and started running towards the mouse to attack it, to swallow her, but she lived wide. The snake started attacking the mouse in order to swallow it, but the mouse was very swift. It just jumped away to keep herself safe. Okay, so every time the snake was attacking the mouse, the mouse was saving herself by jumping away to other side. So the snake became exhausted. Again, he became tired and slid inside his hole once more. He started entering its hole once more. Then exactly as before, down the clamped with might and main on his tail till mad with pain. So once again, when the snake tried to enter into the hole, the same thing happened. It was stopped at the door, and the snake and the mouse started biting the tail of the snake. And you know, as before, the snake was also in a great pain. So what the snake did? Yet again the snake emerged. Yet again the snake came back for a fight, and this time the battle was very furious. Okay, the battle became very worst. But the mouse, in spite of its tiny appearance, tiny body, it fought on and on. It never stopped its fighting. When the snake, without a sound, spat the dead mouse on the ground. So the mouse fought on till her strength was almost gone. The mouse fought with the snake until she was exhausted. She became tired. All his power went. Sit properly. When the snake, without a sound, spat the dead mouse on the ground. So without a sound now, as you can see, the snake is not able, just 1 minute. So the mouse fought on and on till her strength exhausted. She was totally gone out of her strength. So this is the power of your willingness. Sometimes what happens, when you fail in something, you just give up that thing, that it is not possible on my part to perform this task. Okay, so what you do, you just leave that. But we can learn from this lesson that with our little strength, little physical strength, if we have our capacity from our heart, then we can do whatever we like. You know? Okay, so after this battle between the snake and the mouse, the snake became so exhausted and it wanted to go inside the hole, and you know, the mouse was inside the belly and it was not able to enter the hole. So in order to enter the hole, it spat the dead mouse on the ground. It just vomited that mouse which it has swallowed. With mangled slither stole unopposed into its hole. Okay, and the body was caught, and it was you know, after in the belly of the snake, it became very caught, and some places where the body was still, it was not at the proper position. Okay, and unopposed into its hole. Now when the snake entered to the hole, there was no one to oppose the snake. And this gives us another lesson. When the snake was going into the hole, the other mouse can escape from that room, but it did not do that. What it did? It fight for her friend. May it be dead or alive, he just fight for her friend. Then the mouse came up and cried bitter tears for her who had died, squeaking sadly and bereft, corpse in mouth, she sobbed and left. So you can see, with finding the dead body, she cried so bitterly, and in the mouth she put the crop, that is your crops, and went out, left the room. She put the dead body of her friend and went, leave the house at that time, and the snake, it went inside the hole. This was seen by Mr. Yang when his friend the poet Chang heard the mouse story later, eager to commemorate her. Okay, so this was seen by a person, his name was Mr. Yang. Okay, and he told all this story, or you may say all this happening to his poet friend Mr. Chang. And after hearing the story, mouse story, they wanted to commemorate, means they wanted to do something in the memory of the mouse. As he walked back to his house, he composed the faithful mouse. So as he walked, the poet friend, when he returned to his home, he has written a very beautiful poem about the faith of the faithful mouse, wherein elegiac meter he extols the snake defeater, and in couplets sad and stoic celebrates her acts heroic. So in elegiac meter he just praised the braveness, the boldness of the mouse. Acts that prove that such and pain, death and grief had not in vain. So death and grief, they don't, every time they don't go in vain. Sometimes they also teach us something valuable. As the death of the friend of the mouse taught her that you have the strength, you have the capacity to fight with a mighty snake. So sometimes when our life gives some problem, when we feel worthless, at that time also we should think that we have value, we have strength, and we should do like that. Which fine lines, alive or dead, neither the mice had read. So the both mouse, they were not here to read this poem about them, but from this poem we learn at least two lessons, I think. First is strength. Okay. Second is faithfulness towards your friend, your commitment, friendship. Still its friend is dead, but it was fighting for her friend. Okay. So I think these two lessons you will apply in your life. That's all for today. Thank you.